It is playoff time, my friends. I'm gonna upload this on the main channel since it's been blowing up. Might as well. This is gonna be a long ass video. We're gonna start off with my dream Super Bowl. Um, of course, my Bears didn't make it, but they fired Pace and Nagy. Future is bright. We're gonna get a new coach, a new game manager, and well, I don't think they're gonna pick the best person for the job. They're not gonna pick Urban Meyer or some shit. So it's not that bad being a Bears fan. Could be worse. Could be a Giants fan. Could be a Jags fan. At least the Jags, they got the ideal ending to a season. Not only do they secure the first round pick, first overall first round pick, the very first, they get to beat their divisional opponent, their rival. And not only that, they get to knock them out of the playoffs. And not only that, they blew them out. That is a pretty good end to the season. I'm happy for Jacksonville fans. Fire your game manager, Jacksonville. Well, Jets. It's not that bad being a Bears fan. Ownership sucks, but that's a common theme around the league. Now, without further ado, what we're going to start off with is, well, I wish my Bears in the playoffs so I can just predict them to win the Super Bowl. And that's not going to happen. That's just not going to happen. Not one bit. I'm sorry. It just won't. I'm going to start off with my dream Super Bowl. Skip ahead a few minutes. Time of the video is 1:31. Skip ahead to like 4 minutes if you want to see my actual predictions, which are going to take a lot longer. Let's do this quick. Bengals beat the Raiders. Bills beat the Patriots. Chiefs beat the Steelers. Cardinals beat the Rams. Cowboys beat the 49ers. Bucks beat the Eagles. Actually, I'm sick of seeing Brady win. Eagles upset the Bucks. Bills beat the Chiefs. Bengals beat the Titans. Cardinals beat the Cowboys. Packers beat the Eagles. Cardinals beat the Packers. Bills beat the Bengals. This right here will be my dream Super Bowl. And I would have to go for the Buffalo Bills to win the Super Bowl 31 to 24. Should I want a high scoring one? 35 to 31. That right there would be my dream Super Bowl that I want to happen. This is what I'm rooting for. However, I don't think that's going to happen. But can they make it? Let's find out. Okay, so let's do the real predictions now. We got the Las Vegas Raiders taking up against the Bengals in the wild card round. The Bengals have not won a playoff game since like 1991. Let's see their record. The Bengals have beaten good teams. They should have beaten the Packers, in my opinion. So let's just put that as a win. Yeah, they had a few close games. Where they played down the competition, but when placing, of course, they had that one weird game where they lost to the fucking Jets. But I mean, they have beaten good teams. They've beaten the Chiefs. They've beaten them. They have a good record versus winning teams. Don't check in the. They also have a good record versus winning teams. Also, the coin flip does not lie. 10 and 7. Also predicted 10 and 7. Personally, in my opinion, Sorry, I tested positive for COVID, so my throat's kind of hurt a bit. In my opinion, I see this being a really high-scoring game, but I'm gonna actually have the Bengals. I'm gonna have the Bengals coming up on top. 24 to 17. Bengals are gonna win the wild card and finally snap a 30-year drought, which would, I believe, make the Detroit Lions have the longest drought for playoff wins in the NFL. Yeah. Yeah, the Lions would have now the longest active drought for a playoff win. I think it was 1990. What? 1990. 1990. Wow. I think they're finally going to break that curse. The last few years, all these curses. The last 10 years, a lot of playoff curses have been broken since the start of the century, in my opinion. Curse of Bambino, of course, curse of the Billy Goat, with the Cubs winning the World Series in 2016. Now the Bengals are going to break their curse, just like the Browns and the Bills. I don't know if they were cursed, they just sucked. But a lot of droughts are going to be broken, especially my Bears. I think they're going to break their playoff win drought, maybe even Super Bowl drought. This team is going to be good in a few years, maybe even next year. The future's bright. Well, and then the Bills. Moving on to the Bills. This is going to be a great matchup. This is probably one of the biggest games in this rivalry in a very, very long time. Maybe even ever. This is a wild card playoff meeting which will decide the future of both these teams. The Bills want to prove they're legitimate. They need to overcome their demons and beat Bill Belichick. They split the series evenly. The Patriots, of course, started off 1-3, were beaten up on a really shitty Texans team and losing to the Cowboys. This was at their lowest. But since then, 7 straight wins before dropping 2 straight to the Colts, finishing 1-3. Um, it's not an ideal end to the season, but the middle of the season, that stretch from like October to December, that was really good. Plus a bye week. I mean, the bye week may have sapped some of their momentum, but still, they're in the playoffs. The Buffalo Bills, let's compare them. Bad loss to the Steelers. Good win over the Dolphins. A Washington football team, Texans. A really good win over the Chiefs. I remember that one. Then a loss to the Titans. A bye week. Swept the Dolphins. Really, really ugly fluke loss against the Jaguars that I had no reason. I know they had no business winning that game. Jacksonville, why did you do that? Next up, got the Bill. They bounced back, beat the Jets, lost a really shit game to the Colts. Win, win, and this one here was that was like shit. And then they finished out by winning out. It still what? But yeah, Buffalo Bills winned out. Is that a word? No, but still, good conference record. 5-1 in the division. This team is good. And in my personal opinion of Josh Allen, they're going to play their absolute best football. Because I'm pretty sure a lot of Buffalo Bills fans, if they win this game, then losing the next, they'll be happy. It'd pretty much be the equivalent of like, it's not the same intensity rivalry as like the Ravens at the Steelers or the Bears at Packers. But if like I was a Bears fan and next year we go like what 9-8, go to the wild card and play the Packers and we beat them and then losing, I would consider that a successful season. Beating the Packers in the playoff, knocking them out, and then losing to the I don't know, Rams or something in the divisional by 20 points, I would be happy with that. Of course, I want to go to the Super Bowl, like any fan, but A playoff win against your biggest rival. That's pretty good. And I think that is what this is. That's gonna happen. I predict this is gonna be a very high scoring, very good game. 31 31 to 28. Nail biter. Next up, the Steelers, Kansas City Chiefs. Steelers stumbled into the playoffs much like 2020 Bears did, but regardless, they're 9-7-1. Um, and potentially, if they tied, that would have been crazy if they tied that game. That would have been chaos. But it's like Pittsburgh Steelers won against the Ravens, and now they're in the playoffs, and they're gonna play the Chiefs. Now let's check out the Steelers' schedule. Now, in my opinion, they shouldn't be in the playoffs because they had no business winning this game versus Chicago. But even then, even if they won that game or not, they still, nothing would have changed in the playoff bracket if they lost that game to Chicago. Now, if they lost another one, then yeah, they would be out. Oh wow. Even the tie, even if they lost 8 and 9 and still in the playoffs, really? Huh. Nah, that's bullshit. They wouldn't. But it's like they had a few good wins, and then got blown out by the Pack. Should have lost to the Bears. Did in my opinion. Lost to the Chargers in a really good game. Lost to the Bengals, and I think that was a blowout. Swept the Ravens. Ravens, what happened? Nearly came back in a really good Thursday night football game versus the Minnesota Vikings. What would have been the greatest choke uh, in NFL regular season history. Beat the Titans, lost to the Chiefs, beat the Browns. So they beat good. Oh, they beat a few good teams. Um, they beat up on losing teams, but not that good against winning teams. And I just don't see any real upsets happening. I would not be surprised if the Steelers upset the Chiefs, but I I don't really see it happening. I think the Chiefs are gonna start off strong, use momentum, and they're gonna go on another run. 32-17. Next up, we got the Arizona Cardinals versus the Los Angeles Rams. Now the Rams did win the division. The Cardinals had a pretty good lead on the division, but now they're going to have to settle for a wild card and an away game at SoFi. Um, Cardinals, they had momentum. They were at one point the best team in the league. What happened? Come on. It's disappointing. Let's check both schedules. Okay, both teams beat my Bears, so angered. Um, they lost. The Cardinals lost a very close game to the Packers that they probably should have won. And even if they did win, they'd still be the one. What the hell? How would they still be the 1 seed? Um, but yeah, they lost that. Then after that, they they just after the Bears game, ever since they posted that stupid L Bean thing on Twitter, they were what 1-4, which is the same record the Steelers had, 1-4 in the season. And for that reason, as much as I don't want this to happen, because I am rooting for the Cardinals, I like the Cardinals. I just think the Rams are going to come out with momentum, and It's going to be a tough loss for Cardinals fans, but I actually going to have the Rams beating the Cardinals. That's it's unfortunate. It really is. Really is. Anyway, next up, what do we got? But I would not be surprised if the Cardinals come back strong and win. But since it is at home with SoFi, I will be rooting for the Cardinals to win. I will be, but that's why I pick against them. Because if they lose, I get my pick right at least. Next up, the 49ers at the Cowgirls. Okay, so pretty much 49ers, they squeezed in the playoffs. The Saints won and they lost. The Saints would have gotten in. Um, oh yeah, Georgia won. Nice. Cowboys 12 and 5 right now. They have all the momentum, one of the most dominant offenses in the NFL. I think this is going to be a very bad game for San Francisco. Very bad game. This team is. I could see the 49ers potential. Let's check out the 49ers. They're 10 and 7 right now. They have good wins over some of these teams. Did they play the Cowboys? I know the Eagles did. They got blown the fuck out. Um, but yeah, 49ers lost to the Pack, but they could have easily beaten the Pack if they just kneeled down. Don't give Rodgers any time. And they just made the same mistake over and over again. When you score a game-winning touchdown, you don't want to leave any time. At most, maybe 10 seconds. That's it. To the point where, like, the punt takes most of the time away to try to even return it. So no time for a return. So anyway, I got the Rams, and then who should I pick? I'm gonna have to go with the Cowboys. I know I'm being boring with these picks, but upsets don't happen all the time in the playoffs, but it is playoff football. 49ers do have potential to beat them, but and anything can happen. Who knows? So I got the Cowboys advancing 27 to 10. I think it's going to be a rough game, which is how dominant that Cowboys offense is. However, their defense is also dominant. This Cowboys team is legit. Next up, we got the Eagles versus the Tampa Bay Bucks. The Eagles are pretty good, pretty good offense. Let's look up at the no, I'm on a regular season game. Okay, see, that was a close game right there. Tampa Bay Bucks, the Philadelphia Eagles did make a late comeback. I'm actually going to be a little bold with this one. I'm going to predict if the Bucks do advance. Bucks do advance. Oh, they're playing the Rams and then. I'm going to predict the Eagles actually upset. Actually, no. The Eagles, I think, are going to make this a very competitive game, and I think the Bucks are going to be humbled by a very, very hard fought wild card game. And I think it's going to come down to a last second kick to win it. And I would not be shocked if the Eagles upset. This Eagles team has potential. Next up, we have the Buffalo Bills, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Bengals versus the Titans. Cowboys versus the Buccaneers, and the Rams versus the Packers. Okay, first off, we got the Buffalo Bills and the Chiefs. Both these teams are very elite right now. However, the Bills just dominated the Chiefs in the regular season. The rain delay didn't help though. Both these teams are very dominant, have great offenses, but the Bills have more motivation. The Chiefs went to the Super Bowl last year. The Bills have the drive, a very passionate fan base. I think they're going to travel well. I think, in my honest opinion, this Bills team is going to go back to the AFC Championship again. And I think they're going to win 35-29. Next up, we got the Bengals at the Titans. Titans are really skilled. 12-5. They're first seed. They've lost. Both these teams have lost to the Jets. That's crazy to think about. They lost to the Titans. They play down to competition. That is a big concern for me. Bengals momentum's a real thing in the playoffs, and I know my dream Super Bowl said the same thing with a Bengals Bills Super Bowl, but I'm being bold. I'm being bold here, and I got the Bengals upsetting in the divisional and winning a very low scoring but competitive game 24-21. Next up on the NFC side, we got the Cowgirls versus the Bucks. Um both these teams are pretty good. However, I just have a feeling that the Cowboys are going to upset. I think they're going to upset. I have to say this Cowboys team is different. This is different than 2016. I've never seen a team dominate offensively like that. And I think the Bucks is going to be a very high-scoring game, one of the highest-scoring games in probably playoff history. I got the Bucks losing 35-42. I know both these teams are really good. And it came down to the wire week 1. Bucks win regular season, Cowboys win in the divisional. Kind of a reverse of last season where the Bucks and the Chiefs played in regular season. Chiefs won, but in the Super Bowl, they lost. Next up, we got the Green Bay Packers versus the LA Rams. And the LA Rams, I want them to upset the Packers. I really do. But the Packers offense, momentum kind of was lost with that loss to the Lions. I know it was a meaningless loss, but what the hell? Water tastes a bit weird. But it's like Packers team. As a Bears fan, of course I don't like them. They're our rival, but they're not going to be one and done in the playoffs after a season like that. After a dominating season like that. I know the records are wrong. Just ignore that. So, as much as I'm going to be rooting for the Rams to win, part of me is prepared for them to lose because it's the Packers. I get the Packers winning. 27, actually no, I'm sticking between 27. I think it's going to be a low scoring game actually. 23 to 20. I think it's going to come down to a last second field goal, which I hope they miss. Which is why I'm actually going to downgrade it to 22. I think what's going to happen is they're going to do one last drive. Rams are going to score the touchdown to gain a lead of 1 or something. And Packers are going to march downfield with Rodgers. And Mason Crosby's going to boot it up. However, I would love for the doink to happen. Because we had it happen to us in the wild card. It's only fair if they have it. But then again, Packers have had their fair share of playoff heartbreak. I remember the Seattle game, and I even felt for that. That's an awful way to lose. The Seattle Packers NFC Championship 2015. Very bad way to lose. Now we are up to the championship round, the NFC AFC Championship games. We're going to start off with the AFC. Buffalo Bills versus the Bengals. Bengals had a Cinderella run, and I do think the Bengals are going to probably win a Super Bowl alongside teams like the Bears. I got the Bears, Bengals, Bills, Browns. I mean, all those teams are going to win a Super Bowl by 2030, 2031. Um, but with the Bills' offense and just their passion to get back to the Super Bowl, I I just don't I just don't think the Bengals can compete, but I think they're going to give it their best, and they're still going to be really happy because this is probably the best Bengals. This is the best Bengals season since the '80s. Since I went to a few Super Bowls, I think they're going to be back next season. This Bengals team is legit. Joe Shiesty had a great playoff run. I think it's going to be a great game. However, I'm going to have the Bills still winning, going to the Super Bowl. This Bills team is good, so I got the Bills going to win this 30. No, no, no. I got the Bills winning 25-21 in a very competitive game. Great defense, great quarterbacking. And for the Dallas Cowboys and Green Bay Packers, this is going to be one of the greatest NFC championships ever played, in my opinion. Two of the greatest offenses in the NFL versus each other, plus elite defenses, two great quarterbacks. Um, However, just the domination I've seen the Cowboys do against not even bad teams necessarily. It's not like they were playing the Lions or Giants. They were playing a 7-10 Washington football team and the 9-8 a playoff team in the Eagles, and they dominated them by 50 points. I don't think that Cowboys team will score 50 points against the Packers. However, I do think they're going to drop a 40 bomb. But I also do think the Green Bay Packers are going to drop a 40 bomb, and I got the Cowboys winning 45-42 against the Green Bay Packers. And the Super Bowl is going to be the Dallas Cowboys versus the Buffalo Bills. Now, this is going to be a very emotional game for Bills fans. As some of you may know, Cowboys Bills Super Bowls have happened before in the 90s, multiple times if I'm correct, and they have lost every single one. I think this Bills team is a team of destiny. I think last season was just a taste of things to come. I think this is going to be a very high scoring game. The Bills defense is going to face off against the Dallas Cowboys offense. And, both these teams do have good records, obviously. Mostly evenly matched. Percentage against winning teams 5-4, 5-5. Um, but all in all, in my honest prediction, I don't want the Cowboys to win, but I also don't think they are going to win. And I'm actually going to predict that the Buffalo Bills, even in my dream Super Bowl, but in realistically, I also believe they're going to win the Super Bowl. I got the Buffalo Bills winning the Super Bowl, finally exercising their demons, getting rid of them, and finally hoisting the Lombardi after decades of being the most tortured franchise, except the Lions. They're like the most tortured franchise in the AFC, definitely. Not only do you have to see your rival, not only do you suck for such a long time, but you have to see your biggest rival hoist 6 fucking rings and owns you like 31-5 all time with Brady for 20 years. The parade in Buffalo is gonna be amazing, and I'm rooting for them. And I think it's gonna be one of the best Super Bowls of all time. I got the Bills winning 35-24. Your Buffalo Bills are going to be Super Bowl champions. I just wish my Bears were there. They went next. They'll be there soon, and I think they're going to get there next year. But for now, congrats Buffalo. I think you got what it takes, in my opinion. I really do. And that right there is my Super Bowl predictions. I know I'm not a sports analyst, okay? Call me bad, ratio me in the comments or whatever for all I care. But this is just my opinion. I'm looking at the stats, and this is just how I feel. Thanks for watching, everyone. And remember to like and subscribe to Chicago Gamer. I'm about to hit 1,000 subs. And I'm going to be making more Bulls videos soon. Um, we're at the point where like winning or losing doesn't really have an impact on playoffs all that much. We're still 20. As long as we literally go like, if we win 50% of our games, we pretty much already clinch. However, I do think we're 30 and 45. That's my honest opinion. We're gonna go 56, 26, maybe 60 wins, something like that. Anyway, go Bulls, go Bears, Blackhawks, all that, and go Bills too. I like the Bills. I think they got what it takes. This is gonna be a really good playoff series, so looking forward to that. Hopefully, they don't get eliminated in the first fucking round, because that'll make this entire video pointless. But I don't think that's gonna happen. They got what it takes. Thanks for watching.